here today. So this has been a long and very difficult 2 days. A long and very difficult 2 days here in Whatcom County. Our hearts are with the officer, his family, and the Lummi Nation PD, and the entire greater Lummi Nation community. So this investigation is still ongoing. So I want to remind everyone that there may be specific questions that you ask that I will not be able to answer. But first, I want to give you some updates. On July 28th at 12:52 a.m., the Lummi Nation PD officer came upon a white Ford Ranger nose down in the ditch in the 3200 block of North Red River Road. The officer checked on the driver of the Ford Ranger to see if he was injured. The driver was getting out through the passenger side window. The driver climbed out into the ditch, looked up, saw the officer, and said, "Oh shit." The suspect took a step away from the officer, brandished a semi-automatic handgun, and faced the officer, firing unprovoked 10 shots at the officer, hitting him approximately 7 times. The officer sustained wounds all over his body. The officer was in full uniform and driving a fully marked Lummi Nation patrol car. The suspect fled the scene and ran to a residence, a nearby residence, and there someone gave him a ride out of the area. At the scene of the shooting, a handgun and shell casings were recovered. It's unknown at this time if the firearm recovered at the scene is the firearm that was used in the assault. However, I can tell you that the firearm that was recovered is a stolen firearm from a Whatcom County resident. From the body cam footage, our detectives were able to recognize the suspect, who was known at the time as Javier Pena Flores. Our detectives also received information that the suspect may be at a friend's house in Ferndale. Surveillance was set up at the friend's apartment, and the suspect was seen coming in and out of the apartment. SWAT team members arrived, contained the area, and began loud hailing the apartment, ordering the suspect to come out with his hands in the air. The suspect eventually came out and was taken into custody without incident. Thereafter, the suspect received medical treatment for his injuries during the vehicle accident at Peace Health St. Joseph Medical Center and was booked into the Whatcom County Jail. So, the fingerprints of the suspect identified him later as Jesus Pinales Agramon, Agramon. Jesus is a fugitive of justice out of Colorado and also wanted for a parole violation of dangerous drugs and possession of a firearm. It's not uncommon for criminals to give a fake name when arrested. So the first name that we were given, that's the name that we knew him of in Whatcom County. Most criminals today, especially serious criminals like him, they're not going to just say, "Hey, here's my true name." So detectives received photographs of Jesus and documents from the Colorado Department of Corrections, which matched the person that we have in custody. He is the suspect in the Whatcom County Jail. So our detectives and our CSI Investigators are continuing to investigate the case. I'll take a few questions at this time. Yes.
What time was the SWAT team activated yesterday, and what time did they, or Monday?
I don't have that exact time, Annie, but it was certainly, I believe it was about 2 o'clock, but I could give you that exact time. So I don't have that in my notes.
You mentioned he was picked up. Do we know by who? Was it a friend, an acquaintance, a random person?
A friend.
Of his?
Yes. Yes, Annie.
With the false name that he gave, was there any discussion prior to the news conference on Monday about naming him to the public?
I don't understand your question.
Well, so if he gave a fake name, but you guys didn't find out until he was fingerprinted, which I assume happened during the process. Had there been any indication that maybe you guys wanted to hold back on releasing his name, since, as you said, serious criminals do tend to lie about their name?
Well, no, because I would simply say that in my career, I've had experiences where a person was given a traffic violation and used a different name. So simply when someone is arrested and you give law enforcement a name, that's a name that we're going to go by right then unless we know otherwise.
Besides fingerprinting, is there a way to verify people's identification? That way you know who they are. But because like you said, criminals do get fake names. But is there a quicker way to identify who these people are?
Yeah, so there is some technology now in terms of rapid DNA. But of course, if you use that type of technology, the assumption would be that that person's DNA is already in the system. So a person could be fingerprinted but not have their DNA taken. So right now, the tools that we have are the tools that we're using.
Do we have any? I know we're not releasing names of the officer. Just like, do we have an update on the condition? Just how they're doing right now? I know they were in surgery Monday. What's the condition?
Yeah. So the officer has went through 2 surgeries, and I just want everyone. Let's not forget that the victim here is the officer, right? And so right now the officer is stable, but I want to be very careful in saying stable. I'm not a physician.
Are you able to say why there was such a violent outburst towards the officer? What brought that up?
So the question is why it was such a violent outburst to the officer. I can't speculate other than believing that that person is evil.
So we knew that the officer was there to help him in the ditch, or do we know the back and forth what happened, why that happened, where he would be upset or violent?
So when the officer responded, clearly the officer was trying to help the person. And by the body camera footage that we have, it was a car in the ditch, flipped over, trying to help.
Was the second person in the car?
Not that I'm aware of.
How were responding officers able to know that someone was down?
Someone was down.
How did they know that he was down?
Yeah. I'm not gonna get into that part.
I guess, with the officer still recovering in the hospital, I guess how important is it not only for your department, but just the community to be supporting this family in this really trying time?
Sure. So the question was, how important is it for the community to
Be there for this family,
to be there for the family? It's extremely important. So our law enforcement officers here in Whatcom County, each and every day, 24 hours a day, every minute of the day, we're here working for the peace and order of Whatcom County. So when something like this happens, especially in an unprovoked manner, it does spark some emotions. But also, it's an alert to everyone in the community that these things can happen. So I suggest each and every person to support not only your law enforcement officers, but all first responders. Because if you think about it, this could have happened to a firefighter. This could have been a call that a firefighter had responded to. So this is very important to know that this is horrible. And I'll say it again, it's evil. Any other questions? Thank you so much for being here. And again, please support the family.